Hi, my name is Monica Swistok, and I'm going to be presenting on the roles of women in science fiction films. My research question was, how does the power of women in science fiction films impact the heroic arc to the culmination of the story? So to research this topic, I looked at three popular science fiction films made in the 90s in the US to see how the women in each film impacted the journey to the plot differently. So the target audience of science fiction has historically been men and boys, and this target audience is reflected in the main characters and the power of which they hold, which is traditionally men and boys. However, in recent years, as women and girls have become more inclined and more likely to watch science fiction films and to be involved in the genre as a whole, whether it's production or consumer, the imbalance of power still exists between men and women characters in the culmination of the stories. So the first movie I looked at was the 1999 movie The Matrix. The main female character, Trinity, is shown in the opening scene as capable of fighting for herself as she defeats and escapes from police and agents. It is revealed, however, later in the film that she does not hold as much power as initially thought by the audience, since her major role in the film is to simply be a stepping stone for the male main character of the movie, Neo. Neo is said to be the one. In other words, the one person who can fight against the computer agents who regulate the virtual reality of which all humanity lives in without their knowledge. The Oracle tells Neo that he is not the one, and thus he believes that he isn't. But to get him to realize his power and ultimately reach the solution to the storyline, Trinity reveals that the Oracle told her that she is to fall in love with the one. And in that same moment, she tells Neo that she loves him, reducing her power to simply being a guiding path for Neo to reach his destiny and come to his power, disregarding her own. The second film I looked at was the first movie in the famous science fiction franchise Star Wars, A New Hope. In this iconic franchise, the most well-known woman is likely Princess Leia. In this movie, she is captured, and that is the main plot of the story. And in that plot, the main problem is that the Imperial Empire has built a starship capable of destroying planets called the Death Star, and she is being held on there. Her power is reduced to that of being an opportunity for the male protagonist, Luke Skywalker, to develop and refine his Jedi powers. Her capture, the removing of any power she had, gives the opportunity to Luke, an aspiring Jedi, to come into his power to reach the storyline of the plot. He ultimately perfects his relationship with the Force, the interplanetary force that connects all things in life, to help defeat and destroy the Death Star. The third and final film I looked at was Men in Black, made in 1997. In this film, there are only two women with speaking parts, the first being wife of the farmer Edgar, whose body was taken by the bug or alien that crash landed in his yard. Her power, or lack thereof, is seen in the very beginning of the film, before Edgar's body was even taken by the alien, when he tells her to get her big butt back inside, implying that she has no power and is not at all helpful in the situation which he is in, when he is investigating the alien that crash landed in his front yard. Later, the Men in Black find her through cheap tabloids that are unreputable, further dismantling any reputability or power that she has, and then go interview her about her husband and his abduction. Ultimately, they get the information they need and show that they see her as powerless and insignificant as they erase her memories so that she cannot have any power in helping solve the overarching problem, which is to get the bug off the planet. The second woman, who has a much more important role, but still has significantly less power to her male counterparts, is mortuary scientist Laurel Weaver. It is revealed that she has helped the Men in Black on many different occasions in helping give information about aliens and bodies that come into her morgue. But it is also revealed that after each time she helps out the men in black, they erase her memory as well, further demonstrating that they also see her as lacking in power to help them reach the solution to the problem which they are solving. The stakeholders in the movie industry are ultimately those who help decide the power of the roles and the genders of these characters involved in the movies. So the first stakeholder that we have is the production, and that involves the directors, the producers, and the actors. They're in it for the money, so to say. They want to make the most money they can off of their movie, and they do so in pleasing their consumers. In his speech, "Why Can't We All Just Stop Banging On About the Diversity of Films?" Romesh Ranganathan talks about how the trumpeted diversity of a film can take away from its actual plot and the success of it, ultimately leading to bad reviews. An example of this is seen in A Wrinkle in Time, and this hurts all the stakeholders and those involved. A Wrinkle in Time is a movie that pictured women with power over the culmination of the plot as the main characters, but its main focus, the media mainly focused on its diversity, thus diminishing from the plot and the actual power their characters held, leading to stakeholders like producers believing that a movie featuring a powerful woman in terms of the culmination to the plot cannot be successful and receive good reviews. So ultimately, one solution to help getting more women to have power in the culmination of heroic arcs in science fiction films is to focus less on the fact that there is a woman in power and more on the fact that the movie is good and produced well. The second stakeholder we have in the film production industry is the consumers, who are arguably more powerful than the production teams because they determine what the success of a movie is. As women have become as viewership in women in science fiction films has increased in past years, stakeholders of the production category fail to see that they also want to see themselves reflected in the powerful roles of the movies. Ultimately, consumers can help tell production people what they want in the movie and can help them to see that women in power can be successful and can make good movies with good reviews, placing more women in power effectively. Thank you for listening to my presentation.